Hey, it's Wednesday. It's a little bit past 8 o'clock on the East Coast. That means it's time for This Week at Gear Report, where we talk about the reviews that have been published since last week and things that are on the way. So we've got, we've already got some cool people here with us. Mitch, good to see you. Well, good to see the logo representing Mitch, actually. That's your cue to say something, Mitch.
He actually had sent a message and said, "Hey, I'm going to get a drink. I'll be right back."
No, he didn't. Oh, and I haven't seen that. Okay. So that's what I get for rolling in late. So I'll apologize to everyone for rolling in late. Unless you have a Windows laptop, you wouldn't understand how sometimes the computer that all it does is sit here for live broadcast. It doesn't even shut off. Like, I have it so that it doesn't shut off. I sit down and half the screen's all jacked up. And so I had to reboot. And when I did, it wanted to install a bunch of updates. And I'm like, no, I don't have time for updates. But Windows don't care. Windows is like the honey badger. It don't care. So it applied the updates while I sat here weeping and texting with Jeremy. No, there is going to be a show and that kind of thing. So it's just my computer not cooperating. So anyhow, that's enough stalling while we waited for people to get here. We have Jeremy in the house. Good to see you.
Fingers, spare fingers.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I can stop trying to kill time here. I have obviously been stalling a bit while I try to get things fired up. I'm telling you, this is the most frustrating computer ever. When it reboots, it is super slow. It takes like 3 minutes to reboot, but then 8 minutes to wake itself up after it reboots. Like, I click something, it literally took 3.5 minutes for Chrome to open just so I could get to the page for StreamYard and start the show. It was rather infuriating. On a positive note, the second and third floor of my house are on the same air conditioning system. And the wife is downstairs painting one of the bathrooms using an oil-based paint that's got a really intense smell. So if I start getting just really loopy, I'm high on paint fumes, because that crap is circulating up here in my office. Everything was fine, and about a minute ago, I felt the heat kick in. I heard the air come on.
Sure, paint fumes. Sure.
Oh, now he's back. Yeah,
She made that intentionally for payback for the tents.
Yep.
Trying to take you out, Jeff.
Among other things. Yeah. Hey, I've got witnesses now. So when things get really crazy, now you know why. And it's as far as you know, it's not my fault. But that's just generally my story. So, all right. Let me see here. Today's like the 30th, isn't it? Tomorrow's the last day of the year. Am I right?
Yes.
You are correct.
Thank God. This year could not be over soon enough for me.
Let's do it again. Let's do 2020 times 2. That'll be fun.
We'll sit here and wait for you, Mitch, to get back.
It's funny you say that, because I really don't think that at least the first 6 months of the next year are going to be any different. Our politicians have backed us into a corner.
Yeah.
What in the world was that? There's no way out until enough people have got it or have gotten the vaccine. Those are the only ways out. That's not the way it had to be, but that's the way it is.
I know, Jeff, but you know what? We have new strains now, so the vaccine's not going to be super great important, because we have all the great new thing. It's just nightmare upon nightmare.
I know it. And
I'm going to go live in a cabin in the woods.
I'm a big fan of saying "I told you so." So go back and read the post that I made in February. Okay, February, where I said this was going to happen and that they were going to drag it out so long that it mutated. Yep.
I actually do remember that.
Yeah, February.
Yeah,
And
I have all the tapes. I can play them back.
I wanted to be wrong. I really did. But unfortunately, sometimes I'm right even when I don't want to be. All right. So you guys talk amongst yourselves while I open
Harumph,
the link.
harumph.
I was just gonna say, Jeff, try not to be so mad at your computer because you talked about how slow it is when it wakes up from a reboot. And I'll be honest, when I wake up, it takes me like 15 minutes to put my socks on. So
15 minutes, you're a rookie. It takes me like 45 just to roll over to the other side.
Are you kidding
Come
me?
on.
Now, Mitzi now uses our hot tub at 5 p.m. as a reason to be able to stretch and bend forward properly.
There you go.
All right.
Like,
So-
I got ice on my windshield. Do you think you can go warm it up? Nah, I got to do the hot tub thing first. Okay.
that has never happened. Literally never happened.
You are in the hot tub every morning. So you
I am.
can't, naked, so you can't run out in the yard and start my car up.
Sure he can.
I mean, I think he can, but
Thanks, Mitch.
Yeah. Is this a free country or not?
You know those little terry towels you put around your waist? You need one that's the design is like pixelated.
he needs a loincloth.
So he can just put it over himself, so people think that he's naked, but it'll look like his bottom is just pixelated.
That's what we need to review next is a loincloth, Jeff.
There you
Look,
go.
Mitch, in the cold, you don't have to pixelate anything. You wouldn't be able to recognize anything
Well, I
discernible.
don't know. You're in the hot tub, so I assume that you're not quite that cold.
Jeff was like,
Yeah.
man, maybe I shouldn't let them talk amongst themselves.
You did this, Jeff. You did this. Hey, and we're drinking out of our Horny Glasses tonight. These are
Yeah,
little,
nice.
they're horns.
Cool.
Oh,
We're drinking
hi,
mead.
Sorry, we're back.
We're drinking mead from a local meadery, and this is the glasses that they have.
That's awesome.
Some neat
So
little.
pretty cool.
All right. Wow. Man, I don't have a hot tub. I don't have Horny Glasses. I don't have mead. I feel, more inadequate than normal now.
Into the new year wrong, man.
Yeah, really. Okay, so let's dive into the published agenda for this week at Gear Report and talk about some things that were published. I'm going to talk about this one and two more in rapid succession because they're going to be really interesting to a small subset of people, and they're all interrelated, not the people, the articles, all three of them that I'm going to talk about. So Scott O'Mary is one of the Philmont experts that helps me run a Facebook group about Philmont Scout Ranch and treks out in the backcountry there. And he wrote a series of 3 articles on time management on the trail, because if you have never really done backpacking where you're going from a place to another place where there are activities and those activities have a limited time window, then it's really important that you don't lose time along the way, or you'll get there too late and you'll miss all the cool stuff like tomahawk throwing or spar pole climbing or various other panning for gold or various other things like that. So it's pretty important. So if you have any interest in backpacking or backpacking where you need to be on a bit of a schedule so you don't miss things, this series of articles will be pretty badass for you and very helpful. If you're not into that kind of stuff, I'm wasting your time right now, but I'm assuming someone out there will find this useful. So that was the first one. The second one, I really like the second one because of the title. You can sleep when you're dead, and other time management tips. And I think that really echoes the approach that I take, which is, if I'm going to fly to New Mexico and spend 12 days out on the trail backpacking, I want to get everything out of that trip, and I don't want to leave any experiences on the table. So I want to do what I need to be able to do that. And these articles will guide you through that. And the last one is really kind of an idea that I hadn't heard before. And it's called Eat When You're Tired. And it's the idea that when you're backpacking and you have to take a break because you're tired, get your food out and eat then. Don't keep going and keep going and keep going and then have to stop and spend time eating. Well, you could have got that done while you were resting. So it's really about very aggressive time management on the trail where you go 2 miles an hour if you're lucky. Can Bella do 2 miles an hour on the trail? I think we will.
Bill, I can't.
You can't. Yeah. It can be a challenge sometimes. All right. So we knocked those out pretty quickly because I think they were awesome articles. I really do. But I figure most people aren't going to be as excited about those. Let's see here. All right. One that's always fun. Let's talk about portable castles. Okay.
How's that compound coming?
It's coming well. It is really.
I mean,
really,
I see multiple erections, which is always a pleasure.
Yeah. The problem I'm having is I'm just a guy, singular guy there by myself. And I'm having trouble with one person erections. I'm really having trouble pulling it off. And
I mean, they have resources that help you with that.
Are you sure your technique is solid?
well, part of it is that I'm getting a little older, so things don't work quite as well as they used to. So like this framework of a tent you see here is a little over 200 pounds. And so to put the legs up, you lift one side of it and then the legs fall down and lock in place. And then you go to the other side and lift that side and the legs fall down and lock in place. Well, that first side I can do. The second side, when I get over there and try and lift it, my shoulders are trash. I've had 3 shoulder surgeries, 2 on one on the other. The one that's only had one, it needs another one. It hurts so freaking bad when I try to lift. I can get it up to about shoulder height, but getting that press up above, I literally felt something like popping and coming apart in my shoulder when I lifted the last one and was like, oh, damn, that was a bad idea. So I've had to find out new way. I'm working on ways to do that. But so here's the other problem. And I know I'm whining and, all guys have to deal with this, but once you get it up, what do you do with it? I can't get it down by myself.
I say that all the time.
Not if you blow your shoulders out.
Oh, that's the truth. But on a serious note, that's the challenge I have right now. I was just right before the show, I uploaded a video for Jason who bought the first tent. So one of them has been sold and Jason bought it. And I think I may hide a new microphone in it for him. Yeah. But anyhow, I told him, I was like, dude, I measured another one. I got all the dimensions. I know the weight. I know what it is on a pallet. So I can get a shipping quote for you. He's like, oh, great. I can't wait to get it and put it up. I said, no, you have to wait. I can't figure out how to take it down. And he took it pretty well. But in all seriousness, I have to figure that out because I got 25 or 26 more tents I got to put up and take down. And I'm by myself. And these are the small ones. The big ones weigh twice as much. It's a little over 600 pounds. And I'll tell you what, I got the gun show going on, but not quite that kind of gun show. I got the small gun show. Oh, look at that. He's here.
So idea for the tents. We're gonna partner on this and we're gonna come up with the jack tent idea. So it's gonna be a way to jack your tent.
Yeah.
Whether it's pneumatic or whatever, we can figure it out. And it can do any tent from, say, 50 to 300 pounds or whatever. Mobile, brings it up when you're done, brings it back down. You can store it easily with your gear.
Yeah.
It'll sell like hotcakes.
The world needs a one person erection assistance.
Yeah, exactly.
Device, really. And yeah, so Jose and I were talking about this a while ago, and so the current idea is I have an engine lift. You know, if you want to unbolt your engine and remove it from a vehicle, you get this, arm that comes in, and it's got a little hydraulic jack under it. And as you pump it up, it lifts your engine up. I think what I'm going to do is hook like a 2x4 or something to the end of the arm so that it extends up. And I'm going to have it where when it's all the way down, it just barely fits under the frame. And then I can jack that baby up. Yep, that's the motion right there. I'm going to jack it up, and then the legs will come down. And then when it's time to put it down, I'll jack it up again. And then while that holds it up, I'll be able to go pop the pins on the legs so the legs will fold up, and then I can let it down again. And I think that will work.
We have a swing that sounds similar. It was for car engines as well.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Small block.
Yeah, definitely small block. Definitely small block. It's a little 4-banger.
All right, Andrew Faulkner. This is your warning. Things are off the rails, man. This is your chance to get out before you get sucked down with us.
We don't need no stinking rails.
Yeah, that's the truth. Hobo Jeff. Yeah, I'm not going to tell people why. There's a reason why I've stopped cutting my hair and stopped shaving, but it's secret. All right, everyone is being
Momoa look. That's what you're doing.
There we go. Welcome to the madness. That is true. All right, now that we got all the niceties out of the way, let's dive back in. All right, what's the next one we want to look at here? I keep talking about hurting myself. I don't know that this RangeMedic first aid kit has anything for one-person erections, but this little thing back here looks kind of interesting. Yeah, here we go. Can you see? Oh, you can't see the mouse moving.
It does have a tourniquet, so that could help with those pesky erections.
It could. Yeah, it's kind of neat. Oh, a rat's tourniquet too.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, just a quick review. I'd been talking to some other folks online, and I think G23 and a few other folks have mentioned MyMedic.com site. So I went to check it out. And as I'm looking at a lot of the stuff they offered, I realized I have some first aid kits. Most of them are home use. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to, one, get a range medic kit so I can take one with me to the range, which I typically take a standard first aid kit. And then I picked up a second personal medic kit, and I'm really thrilled with the setup and the fact that you can add more to it. You got more pockets and different areas to put stuff in depending on what you like to take with you to the range or just anywhere. I mean, it's a good system. So you've got a nice heavy duty Cordura nylon container, and then inside that one it came with everything you'd need to take to the range. So tourniquet, quick clot, you've got the airway tube, basically everything you need, basic bandages, some shears. Again, it's a great seal, and you can see they have a basic and they have an advanced kit for basically each level of first aid all the way up into your IFAC and things like that. So I'm very pleased. I'll probably be picking up some more products from them, and just really liked it. They gave me some really cool, at the bottom there, some freebies because I spent over a certain amount. They had some deal going on. So I got like this cool neck gaiter that has their brand on it, and then a first aid survival booklet with some tips and tricks. So go read about it, check it out. If you need a first aid kit, you want to spend between, I don't know, I think the cheaper one was maybe $20-$30. The more expensive one was like $50, $49.99. But they have everything, like I said, all the way up to the IFAC and higher. But it's quality. Everything in it is hand, like selected. You're not just getting a bunch of generic products. Everything's really decent, and I liked it. So I gave it 4 out of 5.
Well, and we've talked about this before, the idea that first aid kits are one of those things that it is really hard to get a good first aid kit and put it together yourself on a budget. It's like all the things in a first aid kit tend to be volume items, where if you buy a bulk pack of whatever kind of bandages, the price per unit's really low. You can put a whole bunch of kits together. But if you just got to buy enough for one first aid kit, man, that stuff is expensive, on a one-off.
Oh, absolutely.
So oftentimes you really can go buy a pre-made first aid kit, and literally it's cheaper than just buying the stuff and putting it together yourself.
I found out the same thing. I got curious after we had that conversation, and so I went and checked out a few sites, and then I started pulling, like, if I wanted my own personal first aid kit, what would I put in it? There's some things that I'm missing, and comparing how much each individual item cost. And as I just started that process, it was way more. It was almost double what you'd pay for the pre-built kits. So yeah, you're exactly right.
Yep.
So MyMedic.com is the site. I recommend checking it out just for more information if you're building your own first aid kit, and if enjoy.
Yes. Actually, I did get an electric razor from the Vine program about 3 weeks ago, and it's awesome. But I have another reason that I am forgoing the shaving routine. But I'm not prepared to discuss that at this point. So sorry. Love you guys, but not that much.
A point G23 made, and I remember him saying this in a conversation whenever we talked, they actually accept HSA accounts. So if you have a health savings account, you can use that, because a medic kit, first aid kit, is something that benefits your health. So you can certainly use that, which again, some people don't use theirs. Some people obviously have to use all of theirs depending on what's going on, but that's another way that you can actually use that money to help you out.
Yes. Yeah, and I remember you guys mentioned that a couple weeks ago, and I had forgotten. That's a type of thing that it's very useful to remind people. So thank you. All right, Jacob is not here to talk about this little Power Pint 18-in-1 multi-tool, and it looks pretty badass right there. Like, really, it does. And as you scroll down, it still looks pretty good. He only gave it a 3 out of 5. I was really interested to see where this was going to come in, because this came to me, and I asked Jacob if he wanted to review a couple different knives. And this one, it took him the longest to review, I think, because he was very conflicted. There were a few things he liked about it. There were a few things he didn't like about it. He says, my first impressions were less than stellar. And I tried to keep my first impressions to myself, not to taint his first impressions, but less than stellar is right along the line of what I was thinking about this as well. Apparently, as he used it and tried every single little 18-in-1 function on it, he found more good than bad. And there were some things he really liked about it. It may be... maybe has some opportunities where they could make it a little bit more heavy duty and durable. But you can read more about it if you care to look for a tiny little multi-tool that fits in your pocket. It looks bigger. Like, it looks like a full-size Leatherman in the pictures here. It's actually pretty little. It's almost keychain size, a little bigger than keychain size, but yeah, interesting little setup there. All right. And with that, I think we have exhausted everything that's been published since the last show. All right, what shall we talk about now?
Well, we actually filmed those 3 reviews that we told you we were going to film. We filmed those on Saturday. So
yep,
I'm editing those. We just got this in the mail. I don't know if you know what a flat link is from Factor 55. It's an off-road company.
Yes, I do.
So I'll show you. So this is the flat link. So this will be going on the Jeep. And we also got the rope guard that will go on there. So a flat link is basically a safer option over a regular winch hook. So your shackle will go in here. There's no chance that it's ever going to come unhooked, or, on a winch hook, you have that little flimsy catch. And so there's no chance of that ever breaking. This thing's, I think it's like a 20,000 pound brake limit on it. So we're going to put that on, and it'll store better on the Jeep. So that'll be a neat one. These things aren't cheap for that. It's crazy. They're proud of them. But it's pretty in red, so maybe that's why.
It is red. So have you committed to a color? I know red is, if it's going on Kim's Jeep, it has to be red. Have you drawn a line in the sand and said, if it's not fuchsia or whatever, I'm not putting it on my Jeep?
Nah, honestly, I'm going to be the little redheaded stepchild of the family, so I'll probably just take anything. Right now, I'm just sticking with black. I'm going to do, my Jeep is orange, so black will go with that. So I'm going to do black fenders, black steps, some black body armor. My name decal is going to be black. So no, I should be easier. I mean, if you got something that comes up, just throw it at me. We'll see.
Right. And as far as everyone is concerned, you didn't just call your wife high maintenance. So that's good.
No, I did not.
Right. All right. Just trying to spice the show up a little bit. What in the world? He's not going to shave, so then he can have it transplanted onto his head. So, true story. This is what I keep telling my kids. I have the same hair I've always had. It's just all migrated down a little bit. So, yeah. It's true. Oh, that is very generous. I think I'm going to pass, but very generous, because I don't want you to go through the pain of pulling it out. All right, back to the multi-tool stuff. This is something that I've found with a lot of multi-use devices is it can be better to have just the tools themselves, not the multi-tool, because it tends to be less than 100% on each task that you're trying to do. I think that was worded very well. That is certainly what I have found. Yeah, sometimes they're awkward to use. Screwdrivers on multi-tools is one that always frustrates me because they just don't want to turn right. And it's like, yeah, if you got to have it, it's all you have, then maybe, but otherwise, it's just a pain in the butt. All right. I'm going to try. Oh, hold on. I clicked the wrong thing on the other screen. I'm going to share something private with you guys, as if we haven't done enough of that already, right? Oops. Let me go back to that screen. I've got to. Is it that one? I think it's that one. Let's see if we got the right one here. This is not a public video. This is a private video, just because I made it a private video, and I'm going to share it with you real quick. You guys don't hear the sound on that, do you?
A little bit.
Yep.
All right. So anyhow, I'm going to skip through that part and show you more detail on the. Here we go. On how the tents are going. When did I start heavy breathing so much? All right, now we can go inside and look at it.
For attaching something else, I think. I'm not sure.
It's like an episode of Cribs.
So just inside.
It's like if you're doing a homeless version of Cribs.
Oh, yeah.
Coming in here, and then the little one, the liner windows, and then all kind of little built-in things here. These are wire chases. Like if you want to put lighting in here, then the wires get tucked behind that. Come up, get tucked behind here. You've got.
All right, we'll skip forward a little bit here.
You know what? They put the liner up on the wrong side. This is the port for the stovepipe, which actually is on the other side up there. So this should be right here. So the whole liner would come down and rotate 180 degrees, and then this lines up with your stovepipe to the bottom.
All right.
The tan factor
So here's what it looks like
sides
outside.
and the top. So wall, air conditioning, vents. I'm gonna have to find one for you. Let's go.
There we go. All right. I figured, why not? Little tease on the tents. And if you buy a tent and send me hundreds and hundreds of dollars, I will do your own private video that I may make public. Who knows?
Jeff, I find your video tantalizing.
Tantalizing.
I thought it looked like a American project.
Yeah. All right. What in the world? The penicillin must have took. Well, let's hope. What's the point of taking it if it doesn't, right? All right. So you've got those things you filmed. One of them was the rock lights, I take it. Was that before, or did you just take pictures, or what?
The rock lights were not a film. The rock lights were just to take picture.
There was a lot of pictures too. That was good.
Yeah, it was a lot of pictures. The rock lights, I don't know if they'll hold up for a long time. They're very lightweight. They're very wiring is very thin. But not at the end of the day, they're very bright. They work. The ones we filmed were some new grab handles that were there's an expensive brand of grab bars called grab bars that are $200. Well, this is a set that looks just like them for about $50. We installed those. The saddlebags, they're roll bar bags, and they have completely replaced any need for a book bag when we travel. We can keep everything in these things. They're up out of the way. And then the Jeep Attic it's a mesh and paracord system that goes along the roof in between the roll bars, and you can just throw all kinds of stuff up there. Super convenient. So we filmed those 3 reviews, and I've got one edited and uploaded right now. So you should have some Gear Report write-ups coming from this one.
Nice.
We'll have that stuff done tomorrow.
Awesome. Wow. Putting her on the spot, committing. All right. Get them to me and I will edit them and post them as quickly as I can. So, yeah. So how many complete tents did you end up with from both lots? We're not talking about both lots. As far as some people know, it was just one lot. Okay.
As far as some people know.
Trying to get me in trouble here. Come on. Let's see. Thought last week you said some were either missing parts or have broken stuff. So everyone so far, I've had at least 3 or 4 poles that I've had to replace. So I've been cannibalizing another one that had some broken stuff on the bottom from rough handling. So that one's going to be out. I'm going to have to get a frame just to get parts off of, which I know where one is. I'm going to go see if I can get that next Monday. If they'll give it to me cheap enough, then that'll let me resurrect the one that I've been cannibalizing. But I've got 2 tents set up and one that is almost ready to be set up. I was on the last part to put it back together, so I think it should be fully ready to erect. And I ran out of time this evening, so I'm gonna have to go finish that tomorrow and see if I can get it up by myself, or if I have to call on someone to help me get it up again. Yeah. But as far as how many tents out of the batch are good, I don't know. These things take so freaking long to go through and make sure everything's right. If I can get 2 or 3 done a week, that's a pretty good pace for me. And so it's going to be a couple months before I actually know how many out of the batch were good. Saves the depression. Wow, that's generous of you. Yeah, I'm going to think about that. Thank you. Oh, so I get free ammo. Oh, wow. I didn't know people got free ammo on their birthday. See, this gives me something to look forward to. So thanks for sharing that as well. Happy birthday. Everyone is just so nice and happy birthday-ish here. All right. Awesome. So, Mitch, you have anything coming up?
Not currently anything with the new year. Just trying to stay alive right now is my main concern, like everyone else. But yeah, I've got some ideas. I'd probably talk to you about those offline, or we can. I've been asking people for suggestions and trying to see what everybody's doing. Most everybody's just wrapping up for the end of the year, looking at how 2021 is going to start out.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you how it's going to start out. It's going to start out at the end of the month of January with the Fire Expo, which is happening in Imilaki. Is that how you say it? Florida? That's what I'm going to roll with. Imilaki, Florida. And holy crap. Are you kidding me? Say it ain't so. Could you guys believe that?
I don't. I can't even believe that.
Yeah.
So Trump won the election. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So the weird thing is, I actually used to be able to read a little bit of Korean, and I can't anymore. So I have no idea what that says.
It says "Happy Birthday, Jeff."
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's been a minute. I served a year in Korea, but it's basically the characters for happy and then the day of birth. So
right. And what's blowing my mind is I saw it and I was like, I should know what that says. I have seen that many times before.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't remember. Nothing at all. So all right. Well, thank you for spicing things up there. Clash of Clans Shield. That's an interesting name.
I would used to be addicted to that game. That's an iPhone game.
Well, it's also an Android game, but
we don't count you guys.
But so that is a game that I played for a little while and just had to cold turkey walk away from because it's about world domination and I get a little intense. And did you hear that, Mitch? Intense. Yeah. So anyhow, but I'm not as bad as my father. My father has his phone and then 2 or 3 tablets that he'll set up in this kind of wraparound thing. And he's, back and forth to different ones doing this thing. And he's been doing this for years. It's I don't want to say it's crazy or anything. What in the world? Oh, okay. That's even better that we're talking about him and his Korean and he doesn't know what it was. So yeah, that'll make it more interesting when he goes back to hear it. So anyhow, Fire Expo is down in Florida, and with SHOT Show canceled, so everyone here on this broadcast was part of the team for SHOT Show. Speaking of which, where the hell is TJ?
I haven't seen him in a while.
Wow, yeah.
I think he's probably waiting in line at a liquor store or two because it is New Year's tomorrow, and there's probably a 24-hour wait in Florida for anything.
Yeah, that could be true, actually. I talked to him this morning on in Facebook Messenger for a while, and he never said anything. I bet he forgot we had the show tonight. But anyhow, we all had that week at the end of January booked, right? So this opportunity has come up to go to South Florida. It's a little bit east of. Dang it! Now I'm blanking on what it was. I was going to say Fort Walton. It's not Fort Walton. It's something else. Anyhow, it's a little bit north of Miami.
Fort Myers.
I think it was a little east of Fort Myers. Maybe that's it. Anyhow, it's going to be a long drive. I got to tell you, it's mapping out to be like 12 and a half hours from the homestead down there. But I got a buddy close by that does a bunch of Humvee stuff. I'm trying to hook up with him so we can get at least one really badass Humvee and go to this event that is going to be sort of like the NRA show where brands show up and they display their products and they talk to people. NRA show, they set up the same, basically most brands set up the same booths and have the same people and do the same stuff as they do at SHOT Show. Only the public can come in and they can actually sell some things. I don't know what the rules at Fire Expo are going to be, but these booths will be all set up outside in South Florida in January.
Yeah, it's Emma Cayley is the name of it. It's about an hour. It's about an hour east of Fort Myers, which is the west coast of Florida. So 46 minutes from Fort Myers to it's IMMOKLEE. Immokalee. Does that sound right?
I have no idea.
Looks like it's out in the swamp.
I'm going to call it Immokalee.
Immokalee.
Because why not? But Fire Expo, if you go look it up, it's a really neat facility where they do all kind of stuff. We've talked about it in prior shows, I think, but we're getting closer, right? So I wanted to be sure to mention it to the folks here in this chat, because if you already had SHOT Show booked and you want to make that trip, maybe it makes sense. I don't know. Maybe you want to fly down there. It'd be cheap, probably. And of course, you'll be guaranteed to be exposed to COVID somewhere along the trip, which is good. Get it over with. Yeah. And I'm debating if enough people want to go, then I may cram one of these big ass tents in the back of the Prius. I may have to strap the back end shut, but I don't see my Humvee making a 12.5-hour trip at this point in its life. It's still a little young. I got to make sure I can trust it before I take it that far.
I say it's got a 4-speed.
It does. It does. And I've had it up to interstate speed one time, and it got stuck in 4th gear and had to have the transmission rebuilt. So I'm a little afraid to take it back out to the highway. I've been running it I run the warehouse is 4 miles from my house, maybe. And Jose Juan's 2 miles the other direction. And that's all this truck has done so far. Is it's gone back and forth to Jose's a couple times. It's gone back and forth to the warehouse a couple times. And that's it. So I am getting enough faith in it now that I'm going to start spreading the wings a little bit. And we're going to fly across town on the next one. And if that goes well, maybe one of these days we're going to get that bad boy on the interstate and see how it does. See if after getting on the interstate, it drops out of 4th gear and we actually go through all the gears like we're supposed to. I think it will. But if anyone's interested in that Fire Expo, let me know, because I got to figure out who's going. TJ and I are going to go, and I am going to Friday night at 8:00 interview the organizer. Anthony's going to come on and we're going to do one of those interactive live shows where I ask him about the facility. I'll ask him about the event. We'll see what brands are showing up, what they think is going to be in store for media. But I think it's going to be a really cool event. I hope the weather really cooperates and makes it pretty good.
And what'd you say the date was, Jeff?
I think it's the 22nd to...
It's January
24th.
22nd through the 24th. That is correct.
I know I have a work event on the 12th.
Yeah. It'll be canceled.
No, not. Hopefully not.
So are you just you going to get a ticket and go, Jeff, or do you working something out?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Tickets are $20. And that's for all.
To go. Come on.
What?
What do you mean? What? Media doesn't pay to go to events. Rookie, come on. Okay, that sounded a little harsher than it was supposed to. But no, they generally, and Anthony has confirmed this. He's not planning on charging media to come and cover the event. They want coverage. That's part of what they're selling to the brands that come, is that we will have some media coverage. I'm trying to one up it by doing this interview ahead of time to give the event some love, and then to try to bring at least a cool Humvee so that we can use that for some promotional stuff over there as well. So Shaw Barrels stepped up. Maxim will be there. And I was asking Ghost, Maxim often has Tonto with him. So I don't know if Tonto's going to make it, though. He's got a class to teach right before that. Sky Firearms, which is just up the coast in Florida, they'll be there. Bunch of cool ones. AGM Global Vision that was on the show last week is going to be there. They're a really up and coming company. I got to tell Toby that Knight's Armament's going to be there because he is absolutely man crushing like you wouldn't believe on Ash from Knight's Armament. And I could give some explanation to make that sound a little less creepy, but I'm not gonna. Yeah. Bunch of folks we know in here. Lucid is there. Medieval, I really want to see them because they've got the coolest like monopod, tripod, bipod type stuff that articulates so you can change the angle on it. So I want to see them. G-Code, they're popular. Riker's going to be there. Grayman's got some neat stuff that you can put in the back of a Jeep or a Humvee, like Molly type stuff. Yeah, all kinds of cool things. Rescuing children. All right. So anyhow, that is what's going to happen there. We just got to figure out who's going to go to it. All right. Anything else to talk about, or shall we wrap this puppy up at a super quick 46 minutes?
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, we're ahead of schedule.
So since we're new to Gear Report, have you in the past, had a lot of G-Shock reviews, outdoor G-Shock watch reviews, anything like that?
I don't think we've had any.
Well, because for Christmas, I got the Master of G Mudmaster.
Yeah.
So, it does barometer, altimeter, compass. It'll hook to your phone and it'll actually give you a topographical map of everywhere you walk. The elevation changes as you walk. So a lot of cool things like that. So I was just going to wear it around for a while. I wasn't going to do an unboxing because there's a ton of unboxings out there. I was just going to think about doing a review of wearing it for a month because, as you can see, it's a big ass watch. I think it's like 55 millimeters. Does a ton of stuff though. So that's a possibility if you'd be interested in one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the cool thing is that's obviously going to be useful to folks, to read the review and see if that's the watch that's for them or not. But if you get a couple reviews out for products in that category, then it makes it easier to connect with brands if they come out with something new that you want to get a hold of later. So, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's good. All right. One comment here. Lubed is always better. All right. We know that. We've talked about that on the show before as well. What are your thoughts on cheaply transporting a Humvee from Yermo to, he says Cali, he says later that he meant to Chicago. I don't know any trucking company, so I got a quote through Mercury Transport for $1,600. That, I haven't mapped it. I'm thinking that is probably less than $1 per mile, which is crazy cheap. So my thought on that is that actually sounds like probably a really good price for that kind of distance, but you absolutely want to check on the credentials of the driver, make sure they have sufficient training, insurance, their truck and trailer are big enough, they have the right chains to tie it down. If you didn't listen to the interview with Mike Vaden from Black Dog Customs a couple days ago, go back and listen to that. He's got a story in there he tells about a customer that had poured money after money after money into a Humvee and a brand new trailer, and then the transporter had an issue and the straps that were holding it down broke and it crashed into the back of the truck, and basically it was totaled. And that was 3 years ago, and they haven't got it resolved yet because attorneys are arguing with each other. The transporter didn't have the right insurance, all that stuff. Make sure that the broker really does check all that stuff. It's good you're going through a broker who checks that stuff as well. But if it all checks out, heck yeah, that looks like a pretty good price.
We charge $3 a mile for our equipment to transport our equipment. So if he's getting it for $1, that's good.
$1.50 to $2.50 is what I typically hear for transporting Humvees around the U.S. So yeah, that actually sounds like a pretty good price. JMA showing up right as we're wrapping up. Hey, good to see you though. Thank you for joining us. We'll maybe think of something else to talk about for a minute. So what else can we talk about? Aha, I know what we can talk about. I did something and I haven't published an article to go with the video yet, I don't think. So let's go look at it. This video is very cleverly titled Humvee X Doors and Fire Suppression. Yes. So what do you think it talks about? This is a trick question. Actually, it's not a trick question. It's pretty straightforward. It talks about Humvee X Doors and a fire suppression sensors. But here's the big deal, right? I'm going to keep going. Oh, hold on. There we go. That's the point I was looking for.
Oh, there's more than just a green door here. We have additional X doors. This was a soft door last time I showed anyone the truck. Let's go around here. Let's see. St. Nick is still hanging around. Good to see you, Nick. All right. And look at that. Even more X doors.
All right. So that was really exciting. I don't know if you guys are as excited as I am.
I think you need to rename it Behind the Green Door, personally.
Behind the Green Door.
Beautiful.
I could do that.
Okay. Just
I
saying.
could do that.
Spicy
I'm not
name.
saying I will. I could do that. Definitely. And I took the little fire suppression system sensors out because safety third, right? And yeah, but the big deal was the doors. That's really good. And I have been driving the truck quite a bit, and it's been doing awesome. So I really don't want to jinx it and say anything else, but so far, let's see, what do we got here? 2,100 miles. Yeah. That's like, I wasn't a math major. I'm going to call that 75 cents a mile. That is stealing transport from a licensed, insured transporter. So congratulations. You have just won. All right. Good. Anything else anyone would like to discuss before we shut it down?
Mm-mm.
All right. Happy New Year, everyone. To the folks on the Gear Report crew, I apologize that I have sent most people, the ones that I like at least, cups. And I still have envelopes with decals in them waiting to go out. I've got just a couple left to cut before I send them out. And then I have to figure out how to buy stamps, which I haven't done in probably a decade. But I care about the Gear Report people enough that I'm going to figure out how to do that. Or I'm going to task one of my kids with it because they're growing up and they got to learn how to do this shit, right? So this is going to become a learning moment for them to figure out how to get stamps for me.
Post office visit.
Teachable moment.
Yes. Yeah, they didn't make me put a mask on, so screw the post office. I'll send one of the kids in because I love them and nothing will happen to them because they're young, not because I don't care about my kids.
Make sure they're wearing a full ski mask. They're wearing your tactical rig and have just a few sparse wires or something in the pockets because that stuff is super cool for decorating.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and battery packs.
Battery packs. Yeah, yeah.
Something that has digits on it and a blue and red wire, I think. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. That sounds like a really good plan. Did he go get a bomb?
No.
Yes, that's awesome.
So it's a company called Fake Mask USA. And so that's just a little mesh.
Yeah.
So when you put it on.
I was going to ask, but I imagined that Kim wouldn't wear anything like that because it's not classy enough. But you never know because
she's worn worse than this. We went to Fantasy Fest. Come on, guys.
Oh, hold on. I got to Google that.
What? You don't know what Fantasy Fest is?
I've led a very sheltered life.
Key West.
It's like Mardi Gras on steroids.
Oh, wow.
In Key West.
Neat.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. It was something. There's some
October.
Yeah, there's
Yep.
some all nude bars there where you walk in and they just give you a little piece of plastic to sit on in the chair.
Nice.
Not that we did that because we were responsible adults. We would never do that.
He wore a loincloth.
Yeah, I was just thinking, all right, we got a team trip to do, but then you said that, and I'm like, ooh, maybe not. No, thank you. I'm still scarred from sharing a hotel room with TJ and Pickle and Toby for a week at SHOT Show year before last. I'm never going to be the same after that. So
You can totally handle Key West.
yeah, cool. All right, peoples. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you. This was an interesting year. Thanks for hanging in there with us. I believe Jeremy's right, and Kim. Who could ever doubt Jeremy, right? 2021 is going to be awesome. I'm just pessimistic, right? It's going to be awesome. So let's charge into the new year and make it our bitch. Okay, that's the theme for now. Until next year, we'll see you at the range.